back, relax, and maybe get yourself a snack. Me and you gonna have a little chat about books. Hey guys! So I'm here today to talk about two books that I read a little while ago now, but hopefully I still remember them enough to tell you about them. The first one I'm going to talk about is The Shadow Gate, which is the second one in a series. I really enjoyed returning to this world and getting back into it. This is a pretty sprawling fantasy. It goes across lots of different lands and places and characters, so it is a big epic. In the true sense of the word, it really is spanning a whole kind of continent. We are following a world where the Mer are this perceived evil force, and they are trying to take back over the world of the spirits of the dragons, who are seen as this good force. The Mer seem able to kind of influence or control people. They kind of seem able to kind of take them under their thrall, and some of our characters who we're following definitely seem vulnerable to the Mer, because they have an inkling or a passion or something they want, and the Mer might be able to give it to them. There's also kind of a dark magic and this ominous potential doom that is looming over the continent, and there's a lot at stake, as there often is in a big epic fantasy. In this world, dragon spirits, as I say, they're seen as this good thing. However, when you are given a blessing or indeed a curse, sometimes a curse or a blessing can be one of the same, let's say. Sometimes they bespell a blessing on you, but actually you are then kind of trapped in a lifestyle or unable to do what you really are passionate about because you must serve the dragon. And so are they truly good? That's one of the questions that this book is asking. Are the Mer really truly bad, or is there a grey area for both of these different spirity beings? We have quite a lot of different viewpoints, and actually it's interesting to see the difference in opinion. It's almost like religion, I suppose, where different people will see different things as the one true way, and our characters all fall differently on the spectrum about whose causes they align with, the Mer, or whether they align more with the dragon spirits, or how politically aligned they are. One of our characters is called Fen, and I didn't really like him as a character. I can't remember if I liked him that much in book one either, but particularly in book two, I just didn't like his plotline. It felt very much like he was the bad guy. He was stereotypically the bad guy, and I didn't feel like there was a lot of wiggle room to make him likable. There are reasons he's doing things that he does, but it just didn't feel super authentic to me, and I kind of wish we'd had a bit more, I don't know, a bit more of an even spread of his feelings and his emotions and his justifications. Kalidra is another character that we're following, and I felt like her story actually had some really touching moments in this book, and I enjoyed the family bonds that we got to see, which I didn't think we saw an awful lot of in book number one, so I liked that. Her story and her family are kind of dysfunctional, I suppose, but I did like her determination throughout the book. I also found Celis and the pirate crew to be a really fun part of the world. Their inclusion made it just feel like it was a bit more exciting, a bit more levity, and a bit more jovial at times. And there was also love as well, which I really enjoyed seeing, because that was kind of a new puzzle piece into the plot. Overall, a very fun second story, certainly a world that I am excited to continue with. I think there's at least going to be another one or two in the series, and I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes next. It definitely feels very much like the style of fantasy that I used to read a lot of. I don't read as much now, but I really enjoy returning to that kind of cozy epic when it's, especially like when it's autumn time. So no doubt autumn and winter is when I might read a few more of those style of books. The next one I want to talk about is The Adventures of Amina al-Sirafi, and this is a relatively new book, I suppose it's not that new anymore, by Shannon Chakraborty, who also is the author of the City of Brass series, which I really enjoyed when I read it, and so I was really excited to dive into a new series or new book by her. I think this is the first in a series. So this one follows Amina, who is an older character. She already had her adventuring life before we meet her. She was famed across the world for various escapades that she undertook and adventures. She was kind of like this pirate captain. She inherited that from her family, and she kind of went a bit rogue over her younger years and had all sorts of fortunes and adventures. And we pick up her story once she has kind of left all of that behind. She's a mother to a young daughter who she loves absolutely over the moon. She could not imagine being without her daughter, and she really truly wants to just live a quiet life. Even though she loved adventuring, she loved going across the seas and having her crew behind her, she knows that at the point where she is right now, a lot of people would like to see her dead still because of the things she did in her past, and she just wants a quiet life to raise her daughter, to live with her mother, to do the best she can to settle down in a very remote, faraway place. But of course, that would not make for a very exciting story. So we follow her as an older lady comes to the place where she's living, somewhere she thought she could not be found, and has tracked her down in order to try and get her to come back to her adventuring life and help her to find her granddaughter who's gone missing. Amina at first does not want to take this quest. She knows that her life where she is good, but she's given an awful good offer from the lady, and not only that, she's also given a couple of threats from that lady. So altogether, she kind of has to say yes, and so we follow her as she goes back to find her crew and hopefully adventure and find this missing granddaughter. Now, along the way, there's some magic that we get introduced to in the form of some ex-husbands and lovers that she's had. We also see some magic through some of the other side characters that she meets along the way, and the places that she travels to and artifacts that she finds. So magic is deeply rooted in this world, much like in Daevabad, and I really enjoyed the way that Shannon Chakraborty kind of weaves in her culture along with the fantastical elements as well. So that was really nice to see once again. It's told in a kind of chronicler style, in that there is another person kind of telling Amina's story in her own words. So they have actually got some discussion between the two of them at times, which I found quite amusing. Her tale is very much a windy, long one, but it's just full of different snippets of adventure that were fun. And so even though it goes on this weird course all round, it felt enjoyable. I definitely connected to her as a character, to her love as a mother for her daughter, and her desire to just get this mission done and settle back down to their life. I loved kind of seeing her adventures. I felt like this was a different perspective. We don't often see older female characters coming into the story from the beginning, and I really enjoyed that. She is our main character. She is different to the classic farm boy from fantasy that we've seen many times. So I really liked her age, her wisdom in some of the scenarios. She's not always wise. She does take some risks and do some daring things, of course. That's in her nature. But equally, she has learned a lot over her life, and it was nice and refreshing to see a character like that at the forefront of the story. There is a small link to the main series with the mention of magic, but I do feel like this is a completely different point of view and completely different part of the world. So really enjoyable to see this story come to fruition, and very excited to continue on with this world. So much so that I've already started going back into Shannon's works, and I've actually been reading The River of Silver, which is like a short story collection of stories from Daevabad. So yeah, I'm fully back into this world. Very much enjoyed both of these, gave that one 4 stars as well. Let me know, which one are you most interested in and which one would you pick up if you could? Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you again in another video very soon. Bye everyone!
Thank you for watching my video today. Go pick up a book, then come back and chat with me again.